Yo guys, what's going on? It's PsychoSibs Gaming and welcome to my very first Battle for Neighborville ranking video. So now that the game's content is wrapped up and my farming guides won't be super useful anymore, we're going to take a look at different aspects of the game and, well, rank them. So today we're actually going to be ranking the final bosses from Battle for Neighborville's story modes. Now one of the best parts of Battle for Neighborville were the various quests and challenges in the 4 explorable environments. In particular, the final chapter in each story mode questline was to defeat some sort of epic boss. So today we're going to take a look at what makes these bosses good or bad, and ultimately rank them from the worst boss to the best boss in the whole of Battle for Neighborville. Note, we will not be including mini-bosses from regular quests or the final gnome bosses, so if you want to see those ranked in a separate video, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe. We just reached 5,000 subscribers, and yet over 80% of you guys are not subscribed, so go ahead and smash that subscribe button for more epic content. Otherwise, without further ado, sit back, relax, because you're watching PsychoSibs Gaming. So starting off with the worst boss in Battle for Neighborville, we have the Dreadwood, known as Dreadwood. This Cyclops tree creature is responsible for the kidnapping of the fictional cult leader Dummy, and wraps up my personal favorite storyline in the game. However, as a final boss itself, Dreadwood could certainly be better. The fight, like most of these final boss battles, has a series of phases that slowly increase with difficulty. The fight has you rotate between shooting the eye of Dreadwood and shooting glowing hearts on its back. Dreadwood rotates between shooting giant balls of sap, a big eye laser beam, a wind funnel attack, and a spinning arm attack. Now, most of these attacks aren't designed to kill you, but rather to push you off of the top tree platform down to the swamp where you'll be swarmed by annoying Dreadroots as you try to come back up. I absolutely hate the design of the Dreadroot's eye laser because it can't be dodged, it has high knockback, and it does a ton of damage, so it's frustrating to deal with one, let alone a whole squad of them, as you're simply just trying to get back to the actual boss fight. But if you can keep from getting knocked off the platform, the fight is relatively easy. You just hide behind the barricades, shoot Dreadwood, and repeat. The phases aren't incredibly difficult or different from one another, and although the fight isn't necessarily bad, it's definitely not better than any of the other entries on our list. Now, surprisingly, I was extremely torn on where to rank the bosses from here on out, but I'm going to give the number 3 spot to Blightcap. I want to say that the first time I played this boss, it was live on stream in the early days of my channel, and this fight was insanely intense. It was even the first time I broke more than 10 viewers on a stream, and I felt that adrenaline pumping through my veins. The Blightcap fight environment is dark and claustrophobic when you place this gigantic mushroom right in the middle of the arena. And then this just mega chonky boy slowly chases you around with horror movie serial killer fashion, as well as teleporting right behind you randomly to spook you. Where this fight falls short is in the actual progression of each phase. Nothing really changes with this fight. You damage Blightcap, and then you run around collecting garbage and getting burned by his gaze. You charge the stink bomb up, and then you kind of repeat. It's a crazy intense fight, but I think overall, I don't really like the garbage collection step. I understand that it's supposed to be a stealth portion, because you can't sprint and you're supposed to hide from Blightcap's burning eye glare or whatever. But it's so easy to just tank through the damage that the phase loses its sense of suspense and urgency and instead becomes an annoying couple of minutes. So honestly, get rid of the garbage and give Blightcap some more health and attacks, and I think I'd rank this thing up a little higher, but right now as it is, the garbage just stinks. swing dancing into our number 2 spot is the Boogie Master himself, Old School. I absolutely love this fight so much, and it was only after I went back and replayed all the boss fights for this recording that I decided to switch my number 1 and number 2 ranking. Now, compared to the previous fights, Old School has multiple distinct phases that keep the fight fresh. He swaps between bombarding you with dance bombs and music disc attacks, to hopping around in his disco ball creating damaging shockwaves, to charging at you where you have to carefully direct him into the wall of speakers to get his weak spot, to bringing out these glowing panels you have to shoot and dodge around. It's a lot to do, and it's also a lot to figure out. This fight has very much a puzzle feel to it with the ball phase and the panel phase. I mean, if you can't figure out how to get the disco ball to bash the speakers, you will not finish this fight. With the panel fight, you're supposed to shoot out the glowing panels and then dodge around them, which I think would make this phase extremely intense. However, you can actually just tank through the non-glowing panels and break the gaps so you can sit in one place and rain bullets on Old School. But overall, once you figure out how to complete each phase, this becomes the easiest boss fight by far. And I think that it's the overall lack of replayability and difficulty that keeps Old School from hitting number 1. Also, the phase where he jumps around in his ball making waves is not only easy, but takes a really long time. It just feels like it drags on. But other than that, you're going to find out that our number 1 spot brings together all of the best elements of the game. And if you fought all the bosses, you'll know that our number 1 spot belongs to Major Problem. Major Problem combines distinct changing phases with a feeling of intensity and urgency, and throws in the most endangering platforming elements in the game, avoiding the molten cheese. The fight starts off at the bottom of this cheesy volcano, threatening to explode and brutally drown, burn, and murder everyone in Neighborville. Yeah, kinda disturbing. But as you take on this mechanical menace, blasting off its glowing light bulb weak points, you are forced to climb higher and higher up into this cheesy pit of doom. The second phase puts you on a more dangerous platform in the middle of the cheese pool and introduces the fire blast attack and the drill attack. The final phase brings you all the way up to the top of the volcano, just minutes away from spilling out and killing everyone, as you can actually see Neighborville out the side of the volcano, which is a great touch by the developers. Anyways, the final phase forces you to platform around floating platforms in order to avoid the fire blasts and rockets, as well as kill off a few casual enemies, before you can actually blast the last bulb on Major Problem and make this problem go away. Also, these small platforms that you have to jump on, they actually sink if you stand on them for too long and just drop you into that fiery cheese, which is something I didn't even know and led to my first and only death filming this video. All in all, each of the 3 phases feels perfect. They introduce new and more difficult elements each time, raising the difficulty and raising the stakes as you physically raise yourself up through the volcano. And the weak points, these light bulbs essentially, are small enough that it's actually somewhat of a challenge to hit them when the boss is moving around. And by only allowing you to break a few weak points at a time, it keeps you from speeding through the boss like a lot of the previous entries were possible. All in all, Major Problem, great fight, 10 out of 10, masterpiece. But remember, those are just my opinions. I'd love to hear in the comments section below what you guys think of the boss fights and which one is your favorite. Also, comment below what ranking video I should make next. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and thanks for 5,000 subscribers. I'll see you next time. Game on, gamers.